So I got the new canning shelves finished and I'm all excited. And you know, we're still moving some stuff down here because we're still canning today. We've got a bunch to do, but I'll kind of go through and show you what we've got here. So I'm thinking at the back here, we're just gonna leave these shelves here for jars, even though I've got some store-bought stuff up here. On the top, we're gonna leave it for kind of extras and that kind of thing. Over on the side here, we've got my rolling shelf that I built for canned goods. So you can drop stuff in the top, it rolls down to the next shelf, and that way everything that you first bought is the first thing you're going to grab out. So it's really handy. Then over here is the metal shelf that the jars were on. So we've moved all the jars over to this, and this is going to be more for, again, our store-bought goods. What we'll do is we'll move some of this stuff down here once we start bringing some of the more of the jars down and filling up the back there. I just kind of put it there because I don't have a piece of wood. I might put a piece of wood or cardboard on the wire here on this shelf. That way, you know, it's just nicer and the smaller stuff doesn't wiggle around and that. So let's start going through what we've got here. So like I said, I'll quickly just go through this rolling shelf. The top one's angled to the back, the front one's angled to the front. So you stick your cans in the top once you do your grocery shopping, and then it rolls down here to the front. So your oldest stuff, you're able to grab and pull out and use up. And that way you don't have to worry about moving stuff on your shelf and arranging stuff by dates. I'll link, there's a little tag here or card here or little thing here anyway on the whole premise of this shelf. Up in the top corner, we've got green beans. Last year was amazing for green beans. We couldn't keep up with the amount of green beans. We were eating green beans like every day. We froze a ton of green beans. We canned a ton of green beans. So going into this year, when our garden didn't do that well, we're thankful because we still have a lot of green beans left over. We've got some potatoes that we canned. Again, last year for our potato harvest was really good, so we were able to can a lot. We got a little bit of honey left over. We had bees 2 years ago, and we had tons of honey, and we've still got a couple jars left. So probably this spring we're gonna have to get some more bees as well. We've got potato leek soup, again with our huge potato harvest the other year, and we actually had a good leek harvest that year too, and we love potato leek soup. And this one's done so that, you know, you pop it open, throw it in a pot, and then you can add your cream or milk or whatever. It doesn't have any of that in it right now canned. Moving along to this side, again, is the store-bought stuff. There's just some extras here that we have. It'll move over to this shelf here, the wire one, the metal one that the jars were on. And this will continue to be canned goods that we can. So again, this wire shelf here, the metal shelf, is going to be extras from store-bought stuff. So anytime we go out and get some extra stuff and stock up on stuff, it's going to go here from the store. Now moving back again to the other side, we've got chicken that we've canned. We do 50 meat birds and it takes up a lot of space in the freezer. We're about to harvest 2 pigs and our cow. So we're trying to get a lot of the chicken legs, which take up a ton of space in the freezers, into jars. So we're putting that into jars. We're doing so we've got chicken there, and we've got a ton of chicken soup as well. Chicken chowder, chicken soup. So we're trying to make room in the freezer for the new stuff that's got to go in. We got a little bit of pork left over that we canned last year. In the middle here, we've got some of our rabbit that we canned. And then behind that is some rabbit soup. Hickory Croft Farm did a video on that rabbit soup. It's amazing. We had to do it as well. A great way to use up some of the rabbit if you have too much. We've got, I believe that's lentil and pork soup. Yep. In behind this one is the really good stuff. Beef bourguignon. It's amazing because we do a great big batch of it. And then, you know, you start to can it up and it's like, that's all we have? That's crazy. But I think we have 3.5 liters there, which isn't much. Moving along, we've got some spaghetti sauce. We love doing this homemade spaghetti sauce. It was like a secret recipe for Bridget's family. And now that we got married last year, I learned the secret. We got some peppers from the greenhouse, so we got those canned up. Some corn and bean salsa. This one, I put a few extra peppers in there, and it's a bit spicy. So I might be the only one eating it, or we might give it away to some friends and stuff. We've got a corn relish here. We've got more corn relish at the back, Dijon mustard, and pizza sauce. That's the only one of that we got. The Dijon mustard and the pizza sauce we actually got from Sean at North Shore Preparedness before he passed on, and such an amazing guy. Can see some of his videos on some of the stuff that he can too. We got some more salsa here. It's not the greatest. I'll probably just actually empty those jars and reuse them. Maybe give it to the chickens or the pigs. We got some onion soup. I definitely have to do more onion soup. We're getting low on that. This year we did a bunch of chutneys, and this one it was supposed to be a curry apple chutney, and I did instead a garam masala apple chutney, and it is so yummy. Then over in the far corner here, I did up some apple barbecue sauce. We had so many apples from Bridget's aunt, and we were trying to figure out all the different stuff to do with it. So I made this apple barbecue sauce, and they've already been going through it. The boys love it. Bridget loves it. They've been going through it, and I was like, oh, I have to make more of that. And now I can't find the recipe. I thought it was in one of my books, but it's not. So I must have found it online. So now I'm going to have to go back and try and find it. Maybe one of you guys did a YouTube video on it, and that's what I went off of. Apple butter, except this one here is maple apple butter. So Bridget did this one herself, and instead of using brown sugar and that kind of stuff to go into this one, we used maple syrup. It's so yummy. Cinnamon apple butter. I'd say it's apple butter, but I find that the recipe we used had more cinnamon than we like in it, so I called it cinnamon, you know, that kind of apple butter. We've got some specialty jams. This one's a mango pineapple jam. We got these ones as a gift from Lazy Days Ahead, and we've been going through those slowly, and they're so yummy. Gotta love it. Over on the far side, we've got some raspberry syrup that we got from Hickorycroft Farm. We've got some blueberry syrup, and in behind that is some cherries that are soaking in vodka. Those are so yummy. And the great thing with those is you don't have to water bath can them or pressure can them. You just pop them in, fill it up, and go. All right, so I'm now moving down below that into the bottom shelf that we're going to use for canning. We've got some curried green beans. Oh, no. I think these are mustard green beans. It's either curry or mustard green beans. I wrote curry on the top, but I'm pretty sure it's like in one of the Ball canning books where it's mustard. And this is so good. You put this into like potato salad. We love mixing it in with rice, and it's just so yummy. We've got some more green beans down here. These ones are garlic green beans. We also did up a few batches with onions. Got a whole bunch of carrot soup. Last year we had an amazing harvest of carrots, as you can tell from these jars here too. So again, we were trying to freeze it, trying to can it, trying to eat it. So we made up some carrot soup. We've got tons of carrots still canned as well. So we should be okay for this year for carrots and green beans, even though the harvest this year for that was meh. We've got some kidney beans canned up. I love doing this because then I can just throw it right into a chili. It's all ready to go. You buy the green beans dried, soak them, then cook them for a bit, and then put them in the canner. And it's so much cheaper than buying store-bought cans of of kidney beans. Moving a little bit further on past the carrots, tomatoes. We've been canning up our Amish paste tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, and then we got a bunch of tomatoes as well from Hickorycroft Farm because they were inundated with tomatoes. So we've been canning those up. Corn. Right down south of us is a town called Newville, and it's famous around this area, and I think famous in Quebec for its corn. So we try and buy as much as we can and can it up. We'll use that in shepherd's pie and stuff like that. Hiding in behind there is some applesauce. Again, like I said, we got tons of apples, and we've been canning up the applesauce, the apple butter, apple chutney, anything we could find to put the apples into and be able to preserve them. Here we've got some blueberry lime jam. That's so yummy. I think I harvested, I want to say it was around 15 pounds of blueberries from the back forest. Went out and foraged for that every couple of days. You know, spend half an hour at lunch or after supper. And we got such a great harvest, and blueberry jam is one thing we love doing too with those foraged blueberries. We've got some strawberry jam. There's a place just down the street from us that is one of those you pick. So our strawberries didn't do that well this year. So we went down, picked a bunch. We're able to do up some strawberry jam. Same with the raspberries. Our raspberry bushes didn't do that well this year. So we were able to do up some raspberry jam, again, from the U-Pick. So we've got a natural blueberry jam. If I remember correctly, that one was done with a lot more lime and other apple. I think it was like apple pectin. So we didn't use a ton of sugar, and we didn't use the regular pectin that you squeeze in for the jam. It was kind of done with, I think it was the apples and lime and that kind of stuff. Bumbleberry jam. We got a ton of bumbleberry jam because after doing the raspberry and the strawberry and the blueberry, we still had a bit of everything left over, and it wasn't enough to do an actual batch of strawberry or raspberry. So we threw it in all together and made the bumbleberry jam. Further down, this is kind of a special one. It is bourbon carrot cake jam. So we saw this one kind of recipe, I guess you would say, in the book Batch. I'll put a link down below too for that book. You can get it on Amazon. It's so handy for preserving stuff. And it was talking about doing pears in, basically you soak them in brandy. So we dehydrated a whole bunch of pear slices, put it in a jar, and then put in, sorry, it wasn't brandy, it was bourbon. Yeah, bourbon carrot cake. So we put a bunch of bourbon in there, let it soak. And then what we did is, when we saw the recipe for the carrot cake jam, it required some pears. And we didn't have enough pears to do the batch we wanted to. So we decided we were going to use the bourbon soaked pears. And that's what's in this bourbon carrot cake. So yummy. Hiding over in the corner here, we have some more blueberry lime jam. In behind that is curried raisin jam. We use that with pork, so it's a really nice side to go with pork. Next here is our Viking aronia. We've been growing a bunch of Viking aronia berries, and we did up this kind of as a trial, and it includes some applesauce in it as well that we made. So it's a little sweeter than we wanted. The aronia berries aren't sweet, so you need to add some stuff to sweeten them up to make it nice, but I think we made it a little too sweet. So we've got more frozen in the freezer, so we've got to get those out. We're going to try this again, but not make it as sweet. We got some red onion jam. This is the first year doing it, and we figure we'll use it probably for some steaks or pork and that sort of thing as well. Little side to go with it. Lemon apple preserve. This is the first time again doing that, and it was really good. Again, we were looking for things to do to use up the apples, and that one is really yummy. And then there's our batch of just regular carrot cake jam. So again, that one's without the bourbon in it. So guys, I hope you found this little tour into the depths of our basement and cold room a little interesting. We've still got more stuff that we've got to bring down here as well. Like I said, we're trying to do more chicken legs. We're doing a beef heart from our cow today. So it's going to be done up in a stew. So those jars will come down here as well. We've got more chicken legs that we've got to do. Did I already mention that? I might have. So anyway, thanks again, guys, for checking this out. If you like this video, make sure you get down here and check this one. You might like it as well.